Hello and welcome back to Euro Football Daily, where today's video gives you 8 things you need to watch out for over the international break. Let's go. England. We'll start with England, where Gareth Southgate is set to be forced into a decision regarding his backline. Both Reece James and Harry Maguire were sent off in the 1-0 defeat against Denmark last month. Whilst James is fairly easily replaceable, heads could be left scratching coming up with a solution for the Maguire problem. In both the Nations League games in October, Southgate opted for 3 centre-backs, with Maguire lining up alongside Eric Dyer and Kyle Walker against Belgium, whilst Conor Coady replaced the injured Dyer for the match against the Danes. Is it as simple as Coady just replacing the suspended Maguire? Probably not. Merseyside rivals Joe Gomez and Michael Keane will hope their early season form will have talked them into starting contention. 23-year-old Gomez has put up half the amount of tackles and interceptions as his 27-year-old counterpart, and also trails in both passes a game and pass completion percentage. Conor Coady might statistically lag behind these two, but has certainly caught Southgate's attention, racking up 3 caps so far this season, including that man of the match performance against the Danes in September. Then there's also question marks going forward, with Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips seeming to be the only options in the holding midfield role, whilst the demand for Jack Grealish to get more minutes for the Three Lions rages on. Southgate also has the issue of selecting his front three, even if Grealish doesn't feature, with the likes of Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho all vying for the same places. Someone is going to go unhappy. But who do you think it's going to be? Let us know what your England front three would be in the comments below right now. Scotland. Whilst questions loom over the Three Lions and their ability to reach the Nations League finals, their neighbours to the north are currently enjoying something of a renaissance. Scotland may be in the B League, but under head coach Steve Clarke, the Tartan Army haven't seen their country lose for over a year. Whilst Clarke opened his tenure with 4 defeats in 5, the last year has seen Scotland win 6 out of a possible 8, drawing the other 2 across both Euro 2020 qualifiers and the Nations League. In fact, this run has put them in prime position for promotion to the top tier of the Nations League, as they sit 4 points ahead of the Czech Republic with 2 games remaining, away fixtures to Israel and the already relegated Slovakia. So what's been the reason behind their good form? Well, aside from the fact that their competition has been easier, the squad has undergone a rejuvenation, as now no outfield regular is older than 28, with the nucleus of the side being even younger than that. Captain Andy Robertson is just 26, as is John McGinn, whilst the likes of Scott McTominay and Kieran Tierney are only 23. Before they potentially seal their Nations League fate though, they have an even more important matter of qualifying for their first major tournament since France '98. Clarkie's boys come up against Serbia in their playoff final after beating Israel in the playoff semi, a good omen for the Nations League if nothing else. Wales. And if we're giving that kudos to Scotland, we have to do the same for the Welsh, who are in a very similar position. Also in the B League, the Dragons have 10 points from a group consisting of Bulgaria, Finland and the Republic of Ireland. Their football hasn't been as exciting under Ryan Giggs, with their 10 points coming in 3 1-0 victories and a 0-0 draw, but results are results. Having already qualified for Euro 2020, Wales can set their sights firmly on promotion, but they'll have to do so without Giggs in the dugout, with their group likely to come down to a home tie with Finland, who have 9 points from their matches, and riding high off qualifying for their first ever major tournament. The Finns' only defeat came to the Welsh, who are also unbeaten in over a year. It could well be a very good weekend for England's neighbours. Nations League. Away from the home nations, there are a number of big matches going on in the Nations League. First up on Saturday is Portugal versus France, as Cristiano Ronaldo's side look most likely of last year's group winners to make it to the final stage once again. The only side that can stop them happens to be Didier Deschamps' men, with both teams currently tied on 10 points each, albeit Portugal have a far superior goal difference. As already mentioned, England are stuck in a 3-way battle for top spot in their group with Belgium, Denmark, and we'll touch on Netherlands' woes in a minute as well. The other finalists from last year was Switzerland, who need 2 wins to save them from relegation in their group, which features Germany, Spain and Ukraine. But these 3 countries are going for top spot, with the showdown clash likely to be La Roja at home to Dimanshaft next Tuesday. Luis Enrique and Joachim Löw's side played out a 1-1 draw back in September. Don't rule out Ukraine though, who beat Spain 1-0 last time out. It's set to go down to the wire. Netherlands. After failing to qualify for both Euro 2016 and the World Cup in 2018, the Netherlands finally seem to be on the right track. hiring Ronald Koeman and comfortably making it to Euro 2020, picking up 19 points from 24. But just as the future was looking bright for the Orange, they have been brought straight back down to earth. Koeman swapped the Netherlands job for the top role at Barcelona, and Frank de Boer took his place. De Boer doesn't exactly have an illustrious coaching career. Other than 4 Eredivisie titles in 6 years with Ajax, he was sacked after just a handful of games at both Inter Milan and Crystal Palace, and underachieved with Atalanta United, one of the MLS's biggest sides. You do have to have some sympathy for De Boer though, as the new structure of the international football has seen friendlies replaced with the supposedly more challenging Nations League fixtures. So instead of inconsequential games against middling European nations or a World Cup qualifier against Andorra or San Marino, the Netherlands have had to play Mexico, Bosnia and Italy. 2 draws was all he could muster. It also doesn't help his cause the likes of De Ligt and Van Dijk are unavailable for selection. But other great talents such as Frenkie de Jong, Donny van de Beek and Memphis Depay should be strong enough to carry his team through. Games against Bosnia and Poland come after a Spain friendly, and if De Boer wants to avoid being on the hot seat so soon, it might well be wise to finally pick up a win. Luxembourg. As much as this competition can be a hindrance for the bigger nations, it allows the smaller nations to thrive and actually win a game or two. One country taking full advantage of the easier matchups is Luxembourg, who are in with a very real shot of reaching the second tier of this league format. The Red Lions are known for being amongst the worst teams in Europe, having won just 13 of a possible 245 World Cup and European Championship qualifying matches going back 86 years. But in almost 2 full iterations of the Nations League, the small country, sandwiched between Belgium, France and Germany, has won 6 out of 10, winning promotion from the bottom tier last time around. Tied at the top of their group with Montenegro, who feature Premier League winners in the shape of Jovetic and Savic, Luxembourg need to get results against Azerbaijan and Cyprus, 2 sides they've already beaten. With only 3 of their players based in a top European league and the rest spread across more minor divisions, promotion would show how much this nation has developed over the last few years. Georgia versus North Macedonia. It's also thanks to the Nations League that we'll see new qualifiers for the rearranged Euro 2020 tournament. Finland had already earned their debut after finishing as runners-up to Italy in their qualification group, but there is still one more guaranteed debutant, and that will be either Georgia or North Macedonia. Neither qualified through the official route, but as the highest ranked countries in the bottom tier of the Nations League, they entered the Path D playoffs. Georgia toppled Belarus, whilst North Macedonia overcame Kosovo in the semi-finals, meaning the two will have a matchup to secure a final place at Euro 2020. North Macedonia will be the favourites, ranked 20 spots higher than Georgia, as well as having 4 players in the top 5 leagues, including Leeds' Alioski and the now 37-year-old Goran Pandev, formerly of Lazio, Inter and Napoli, now applying his trade with Genoa. Much like Luxembourg, the former Yugoslav Republic topped their group looking for promotion to the second tier of the Nations League. However, they just happened to be level on points in their group with none other than Georgia, with the 2 countries playing out a 1-1 draw over the last couple of months. With no players instantly recognisable to the common football fan, the Crusaders will likely have to rely on the goal-scoring exploits of Cyprus-based Tornike Okriashvili to fire them to a first major tournament. More likely though is Goran Pandev becoming a bona fide Macedonian legend. South American World Cup 2022 qualifiers. But of course, it's not just the European nations playing a few games, as over in South America, qualifying for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar is well underway. The round-robin tournament comprises of all 10 nations in the Confederation, with the top 4 teams after 18 matches qualifying automatically, whilst 5th place goes into a playoff against a side from Asia, North America or Oceania. It kicked off last month, and after the 2 opening games, surprise surprise, Brazil and Argentina are the only 2 nations to still have a 100% record, with the 2 South American giants yet to be truly tested. While Brazil face Venezuela on matchday 3, it's matchday 4 that could see their first real test. They travelled to Montevideo to face a Uruguay side with 1 win and 1 loss, and one that will be coming off a game against Colombia that could be instrumental in deciding who makes the final tournament. Uruguay might still be reliant on Luis Suarez to provide the goods, but with the Atletico Madrid striker netting 5 goals in 5 league starts for Atletico, it's not like the goods are drying up quite yet. Argentina meanwhile face Paraguay and Peru, and coming off the back of 2 single goal victories, really need to make the most of what is likely to be Lionel Messi's last dance at a major tournaments. Elsewhere, the aforementioned Colombia versus Uruguay could be an early 6-pointer, whilst an ageing Chile side looking to have one last hurrah remain winless and will be looking to get on board against either Peru or Venezuela. So that was our list of 8 things to watch out for this international break, but have we missed anything? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you hit like and hit subscribe.